Yeah, 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 yeah. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. In the field with my dogs, like the Sixers, we gon' ball. Wake up early in the morning, tune in anytime at all. Hard time, all season, don't believe in off seasons. Watch the Phillies, watch the Flyers, and the Eagles on the weekends, yeah. This is not your ordinary radio show. Ain't just talking sports, we be talking about the culture. All across the globe, anything you wanna cover. This is for the fans, no room for our front runners. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes, Brad Memory in the morning. Marques, Brad, Justin Emery.
Yo, another week passes, another future cashes.
Nice.
Shout out the Eagles. The Eagles are single-handedly funding my Christmas shopping this year.
Well, death, taxes, the Eagles beat down on the squad. This time they traveled down I-95 to get the job done. 48-22. Not even close is an understatement. It's the question is this. It's not a question so much are the Eagles the best team in the league? The question is, how do you stop them? That's the actual real question. How do you actually stop them? How do you slow them down? Because right now, it is an impossible feat for all teams in the NFL. Jalen Hurts was absolutely ridiculous in the first half this week. I don't know what throw you want to talk about first. I guess I'll start with the Quez Watkins throw. I think that was an insanely incredible throw. Off his back foot in the face of a blitz, hits Quez on an out route, which is just a beautiful, beautiful throw. Now listen, 4th and 7. I don't know if I go through that order of the game. It's not something I would do. I had the eyebrow raised. But again, another incredible throw. Love takes a horrible route to the football, but it doesn't take away the fact that Jalen Hurts threw an absolute dime to the hands of Devontae Smith. As Ron Jaworski called it on the postgame show, it was a long handoff. That's how perfect the throw was. He literally just placed it in his hands. And you saw throws like that all throughout the game. Devontae Smith really should have had 2 touchdowns. He didn't drag the 1 foot because that throw also was a dime that got called back because Devontae was out of bounds. One guy we're not talking about enough this year that I want to talk about is Miles Sanders and the quiet great year he's having. He's over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns in the season. And I guess a stat really to me that, and this goes to all of them because this is what makes the Eagles so good. 0 fumbles for Miles Sanders this year. And the Eagles
I don't know about that.
I do. 0 fumbles. Guaranteed 0 fumbles.
Is it 0 fumbles or zero fumbles lost?
0 fumbles. I mean, it doesn't matter. He didn't fumble the ball. Anyway, you have Miles Sanders with 0 fumbles. Also, on top of that, their plus turnover ratio, the turnovers giving up, is absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
It's insane. They don't give the ball up. You have a quarterback that takes care of the ball. Three turnovers the entire season. Because, by the way, he hasn't fumbled either. So, this is a recipe for success. It's a recipe for success. All this team does is win by large margins, really. I mean, you look at 13 games down, we got about 10 or 11 games that were laughable. Once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, don't take what you're seeing for granted. The idea of going out and just beating teams down like this and games being over in the first half.
Just 10 seconds.
Damn ESPN app.
What's happening over here?
I'm pulling up ESPN. I didn't realize there was an.
That is not something that you need to be taken for granted. This team is really good at football, And like I said to you guys last week, I believe the Cowboys game, Christmas Eve, won't even matter because the Eagles will have this thing basically locked up by the time they step into Dallas. And the Texans almost were able to help you out, which was would have been nice.
Real quick, let me just interject. You are correct about Miles Sanders. He hasn't fumbled at all and hasn't lost it. Did you say the same thing about Jalen Hurts though?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
He has 5 fumbles this year.
All recovered by him.
All of them are recovered by the offense, but he does have 5 fumbles registered to him on the season. He has 0 fumbles lost.
Okay,
he recovered it,
okay,
but he does have 5 fumbles though.
Well, we'll take that up for good fortune because he hasn't lost football. So
however, they're all on strip sacks. None of them are where he's running with the ball.
Yeah. So that says something too, that he's securing the ball as he's running the ball. The ball security is very important on this squad. It's not by accident. Also, I want to say that also. Nick Sirianni is huge on ball security. They go over it all the time. They do ball security drills all of the time, and it shows in the way the ball is being protected by this team because it's number one focal point of protecting the football. So this is not something that just happenstance. This is by design. By design. So it's very important to note that and to note the work that this team is going. Miles Sanders, again, he's having a great year, a year that we've kind of been expecting from him for years, and we're finally getting that year that's showing. It's a huge part of what's going on here. And by the way, you get Dallas Goedert back next week.
This week. That's why
I meant my next week. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some interesting thing about Miles Sanders. I'm glad you brought him up, especially early in the show. Marcus Hayes today put out a article, piece of work, whatever format. He was on WIP promoting it. I'm just not sure if it was a thing for the radio or if it was a thing for, what's he write for? Daily News, or not Daily News anymore, whatever it is these days. Miles Sanders, he said, basically has played his way out of Philadelphia. Do not expect him back next year. From a financial standpoint, he's played himself out of a contract Philadelphia can offer him. And I particularly bookmarked that comment to get your take on that.
I'm not gonna say that because here's the thing. Miles Sanders is a running back. We got to keep that in mind. And this is the probably the one chance he's gonna have to get his money.
And he was a second-round pick, so he didn't get paid
right
like everybody else.
But listen, Howie Roseman's a magician.
Well, his reasoning for it was he's going to be a Jalen Hurts contract casualty. Miles Sanders will be a Jalen Hurts contract casualty. That is his reasoning behind it.
I get what he's saying.
He had 2 other names on there as well.
Which are?
Brandon Graham.
No, you can bring back Brandon Graham for something very reasonable. Brandon Graham's having a great year. I mean, someone actually brought up that he could play possibly the comeback player of the year.
Let's be honest. That's going to one of 2 people: Saquon, Geno Smith.
I mean, maybe Geno Smith, maybe over Saquon. I don't know about Saquon anymore. Saquon has not been great the past month or so, and honestly, Geno's tailed off too. Like Brandon Graham's in the conversation for comeback player of the year. Like Geno Smith got off to a very, very hot start and was really good first couple months. First of all,
the thing that's in Geno's court though is he's playing comeback player of the year for like the last 5 years. Like he hasn't played football in
right, but his numbers have tailed off a little bit, and the team has tailed off a little bit. Like they were a guaranteed playoff team about 3 weeks ago, and right now they're struggling, especially after losing the Panthers on Sunday.
Saquon's got almost 1,100 yards right now. He'll end the season with double-digit touchdowns. If I had a vote, I'm giving it to Saquon. But I think it's very difficult for a defensive player to win comeback player of the year. I think it's just that is more so an award that's going to be won by the offense. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I have to go and look at his numbers, and I don't know his
Highest
numbers.
sack total in his career this year already.
I mean, that's good for him, but just because it's the highest for his career, where does he sit? Is he a top 10 sacks in the NFL? Is he a top 5? I don't know. I'm asking these questions out loud, like as I'm formulating my argument for it. I don't know what his numbers are. I find it very, very difficult for a defensive player to win comeback player of the year if they don't come back and have a record, like an NFL record setting season. Nothing against BG personally. He's an Eagles Hall of Famer. Number 55 will not be worn by any other player. They will retire 55 for him. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he should be. Is the Eagles candidate for Walter Payton Man of the Year. I don't know if he's going to win it because they tried to spread that out, and Chris Long just won it.
Real quick on Randy Graham. He's had 5.5 sacks the past 4 weeks.
How many? I'm sorry, how many?
5.5 the past 4 weeks.
Okay.
He's on pace to set a new career high. He has 8.5 sacks right now after 13 games, which I gotta say right now is up among league leaders. 8.5 in 13 games. That's pretty good.
Like, do you know that for a fact that's among the league leaders? Or?
No, I'm saying I would have to think that's.
Oh, you have to. Okay, because I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if off the top of my head for a fact. I can go.
Here, I got it pulled up right here. I got it right in front of me.
Okay.
No, no, he is
All
not.
right, so Matthew G is 14.5 right now. Nick Bosa is 14.5. Parsons 13.
Brandon Graham is 15th right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But like, again, a lot of the work he's done has been in the last month is really kind of heated up, and you don't need to be the sack leader to get comeback player of the year.
No, you don't. But
I think top 10 would definitely need.
I think he needs to get at least 12 to 13 to be considered.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's again, it's in the conversation.
With all due respect, like I said, he will be an Eagles Hall of Famer. I don't think he's going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. He'll be an Eagles Hall of Famer. They will retire 55. I want to make sure I give him his proper respect.
Of course.
However, at the same time, he's not even the top sack guy on his team.
Right.
So that's why I said it's defensive guys can win it.
Back to the original, Brandon Graham's an Eagle for life. As long as they don't insult him, he's going to be fine. They can give him some sort of incentive deal. They'll figure it out. I'll tell you what's not going to happen because he's become, and it's so crazy, his story, because he was, disliked royally for the first probably 5 years he was here. Based on his play, his high draft pick, he wasn't really living up to the standards.
No, let's just call it what it is. We all know why he was hated the first 5 years of his career. One reason and one reason only. His name was not Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, and he also didn't play great. He didn't have a great first couple of his career.
I'm not sure he was put in the best position either. I think he was out of position.
Right. But then, you started to get to know his personality and know him as a person, which always helps. And then besides that, his play dramatically has increased. He's responsible for one of the top 5 biggest sacks in franchise history.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. Top 5. He's not 5.
Not 4. Not 3.
Yeah.
Like LeBron said, not.
Yeah.
Whatever he said.
So like you have that. So I think they're not. Here's why I think he has in his favor. They are not going to make the same mistake that they made with Brian Dawkins. They're going to make sure that BG finishes his career here. Again, this is all contingent on him not asking for something ridiculous, which Dawkins did in 2008. So
he got a 5-year deal though.
Dawkins?
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think he wouldn't ask for that here. He wanted 8. He was saying I'll take basically anything. Denver overpaid for him.
I think the only thing he just didn't want a 1-year deal.
Right.
Because anything with more than 1 year's deal.
He would have taken a 2. I think when did he retire? Was it 2011?
I think he only played 2 years with Denver.
Right. So I think it was somewhere 2 to 3 years he actually played. So if they gave him a 2-year deal, incentive laced, he would have stuck around no problem. They didn't give him anything. They said, take that deal in Denver. And he said, all right, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
He cried. He
3
cried.
seasons. He played 3 seasons in Denver.
Yeah, so 2011, he retired.
Mhm.
So he cried on his entire flight on the way to Denver because he didn't want to go to Denver. He wanted to be here. So I don't think they're going to make the same mistake. I think they can figure that out. The Sanders one's an interesting conversation because, he's going to cost you a little bit more.
Well, he had a third player on there too. I didn't mention yet.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that. Who is the third player?
Bradbury.
Well, listen, we all wanted to keep Bradbury, obviously, for obvious reasons. But listen, I don't know about you, but I kind of looked at him as a rental. Like, we got him for the cheap, and I just didn't see a scenario where
he's played him like Bradbury's only a number 2 on this team because we have Slay.
Right.
He is deserving of a 5-year, $60 million deal with another team.
I agree. But like I said, I looked at him here as a rental. I didn't think there was a scenario where they could bring him back, being realistic. I think that's an obvious one. I think Brandon Graham can get done. The Sanders one will be interesting. I don't know. It's interesting, obviously, for conversation because Sanders he picked a great time to have the best year of his career.
Well, let me ask you this then: Do you feel the same way about Fletcher Cox you do about Brandon Graham?
No, because here's the difference between those two guys. As great as Fletcher Cox has been, he is a implosion waiting to happen. Because
his play is taking a decisive step backwards.
And I don't believe in his ability to keep himself in the right condition.
I agree.
To be able to play long. Like, Brandon Graham will be in great shape. He'll work hard. He's great. He's great for the kids.
He'll be 50 years old. He'll still be in shape.
Right. He'll be great for the kids in the locker room. He's a leader. He is that Dawkins type guy. Like, Fletcher, I don't want to compare him to this guy either because I think this guy was a leader too. But it's kind of like Hugh Douglas. We love Hugh, right?
Oh yeah.
And Hugh was great. I mean, he was much more of a leader, I feel, than Fletcher Cox is. However, he's not Brian Dawkins. I think Brandon Graham is Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey, in my opinion, is this generation's Brian Dawkins. They can't go anywhere. They got to be here forever. They can't put on a different jersey.
I just didn't know if you felt the same way as from a sentimental standpoint for Fletcher like you do about Brandon Graham.
No, not at all. Because he did. And Fletcher Cox he has, like, again, personality is everything, right? Like, Brandon Graham has opened himself up to the community of Philadelphia. He's opened himself up to the people. He's let you inside of who he is. Where Fletcher Cox hasn't really done that. He's a little more aloof. He doesn't really do a lot of interviews. We don't really know who he is. He kind of goes back to his hometown, like, in the off season. Like, he's not really one of us in a sense. So thank you for your service. You've been an incredible Eagle. However, you don't get that same loyalty from me either. Like you look at a guy like, I know he's not here anymore, but Zach Ertz. It always felt like he would be an Eagle forever. Jason Kelsey, you want him to be an Eagle forever. Brandon Graham want to be an Eagle forever. Guys like that who've put themselves like, yo, I am an Eagle.
How about there's not
one of those guys to me.
There's one more guy on this roster that you haven't named yet, who might fall into that category.
Okay.
How do you feel? Do you feel the same way about Lane Johnson?
Yes, I do. I kind of forgot about him.
No. What I meant by the same way. Do you feel Fletcher Cox or like Kelsey Brandon?
Oh, I lean towards not as hard, but I lean more towards the Brandon Graham Kelsey side. Leaning there. It's not like a definitely in that camp, but I lean that way a little bit more than the Fletcher Cox side. Fletcher Cox also said some weird stuff in the past, like he doesn't like football and he doesn't watch football, which I think is weird.
Remember he said he
watched the Super Bowl. And he was like, "I don't watch football when I'm not playing it." Like, what?
Yeah, that is weird. Didn't he also say
that's weird?
Didn't he also say something about like not like understanding how to play the run or something?
I don't remember that.
He said something about as a defensive lineman the play like playing the run. Let me pull it up. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, so like I don't feel the same about that about him, but like listen, before we get to next year and focus on the offseason, we got some great football heading down the stretch, man, because the Eagles by beating the Titans last week,
Oh, never mind. Never mind. It's not a good quote from him.
okay. By beating
No, like it's not good for his argument. The quote is, "I don't get paid to play the run, so I don't play the run."
Yeah, he said a lot of weird things. Yeah, I mean, long story short, he said a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
But anyway, but after beating the Titans last week and beating the Giants this week, the Eagles have set themselves up nicely to get that number 1 seed, and it's even more valuable now because remember, as of a couple years ago, it was two buys. Now, the one bye was just home field throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Now that one bye gives you home field throughout, and you're the only team that gets a bye. So you're the only one that had the luxury of staying home throughout the entire playoffs. And listen, Lincoln Financial Field is a great home field advantage, no question about it. And you know, it's a great position the Eagles are in to snatch that up. Got the Bears coming up this Sunday, another extremely winnable game. And the nice thing about another thing about this team also is that Nick Sirianni has his team ready to play. They're ready to go on times when you think they're not going to be ready to go. So I got no reason to think that even though you're playing the lowly Bears on Sunday, they won't be ready to go out there and win that game, and they won't go out there ready to compete. What do you think? Let me ask you this about Nick Sirianni, because this has come up a couple times in the past couple weeks, and I want to get your opinion on it. What do you think about Nick Sirianni on the sidelines? He gets very, very excited. It was the 4th and 7 conversion. I think it's funny because that's the most anime he was all day, and I'm sure he was like, "Thank God that worked, so I don't have to hear about it all week." But you saw him running on the sidelines, he's whooping it up, really excited, and he's been very excitable on the sidelines. What do you think about that? Is that something you have a problem with?
I flip-flop on this.
Okay.
I think it depends. Like, I want the coach to have some emotions. I don't want you to be a robot.
Yeah.
Like, do you even enjoy being here? You know what I mean? I want you to be in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Do I necessarily want him standing on the benches screaming into the crowd? I don't know about that. Undecided. But I want him to have, like, first off, I love angry Nick on the sideline. That's what I do need. Yeah. Like, so apparently from the people that have been around the complex and interviewed him, when he's not on the football field, he doesn't curse.
Interesting.
Like, he just does refrains from cursing when he's not on the field. However, I have heard the things I've seen the things that have come out of his mouth on the sidelines. Far from that quiet person that he portrays himself to be off the field, which is fine. I mean, look at Dawkins. He was one of the most, kindest, most religious people you ever meet. And on the sidelines, that man will literally take your soul.
Yep.
So I don't, need you to be that personality all the time. But just don't give the other team bulletin board material. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
Just, like, I want the image to be the green confetti falling at the Super Bowl. I don't want the image to be, the Eagles head coach was screaming to fans on the sidelines and they lost in the NFC Championship game. I want the storyline to be this team went 16-1 and the green confetti fell in Arizona as the Eagles won their second Super Bowl in 5 years with 2 different regimes. And the Cowboys still have not made it to the conference championship game.
So I'll put it this way. I'm okay with what I see this year. If he's doing this in 5 years, all right, bro. Like, I can't get upset with him for being exuberant for a guy that was never supposed to be a head coach.
And don't
Like,
forget about what the Cowboys players said to him last year.
right. And how bad the offseason was, how you had all that stuff coming out about Jalen Hurts, about Todd Bowles talking to his defense about Hurts, and like the things that were being said. You had the questions of, will Jalen be the guy for you? I don't think people were questioning Sirianni as much going into the season. However, they were still questioning the Eagles as a whole. And this is the first time.
This was supposed to be a show me year for him.
This is the first time you've been in a driver's seat.
He showed me. He showed us.
This is the first time you've been in a driver's seat of a squad that's this good with a chance to win a Super Bowl. I mean, you go back to it's almost 2 years ago, the press conference that I've heard around the world that so many people were critical about with him and trying to judge him for the press conference. There's been a lot of criticism of Nick Sirianni. How did he get this job? Like not showing up, didn't have a suit on. Like, where'd you guys pull this guy from? He can't coach. So I get it. This year. I understand being excited and also being accepted by the greatest sports city in the world.
Yep.
You've been accepted. You've been indoctrinated into the community, and all of that stuff's exciting. It is. I mean, how can you not be excited? And for me, listen, when he was running down the sidelines yelling at Devontae, I was smiling. I was, because I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for me. I'm happy for the city. Like, I'm happy. Like, this is great. So, for this year, I'm okay with it. This is not something that's sustainable. Like, I don't want to see you doing this in 5 years, because I think at some point this should be becoming the norm. Like, being in these positions should be the norm. But right now for him, it's not the norm. It's not the norm to be 12-1 as the head coach of a team. It's not the norm for you to have the number 1 seed and be considered widely across the league as the best team in the league. It's not normal for no one to have any idea how to stop you at all. It's not normal to go out there and beat the Giants, your division rival, 48-22. It's not normal. The Eagles haven't had a double-digit lead on the Giants in New York since the 70s. So that's how far back that goes. So all of these things that's happening are not normal. It's not normal. So when things are not normal, you're going to act a little bit out of your mind. You're going to act a little bit crazy. And like you said earlier, I agree with you. I want my head coach to have a pulse. I want you to be excited. I want it to be like this means something to you. That's how, listen, when I'm coaching 8th grade middle school basketball, I'm getting into, I'm excited. I'm pumping up the girls. If you're a robot on the sidelines, I feel like you're going to have robots on the field. And that doesn't work for a lot of people. So like, I think it's important. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it now. Again, I think he's gonna have to settle down a little bit as you get older. He's also, what is he, 38? 37,
I think he just turned 40.
Okay. He's young. He's a young man. He's excited. And the cool thing is, like, this is like, we've set ourselves up now. Like, everyone wants to talk about Sean McVay. Well, guess what? We got Sean McVay now. We got the guy everyone wants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a find this was. What a find this was. This could, this.
I'm sorry, 40. He's 41.
Okay, this theoretically, he could be your head coach for the next 25 years.
Yes,
theoretically. He really could. So this is exciting time, man. It is exciting time to be an Eagles fan. It is exciting that this team is as good as they are. Go through the numbers real quick, and I'll let you take it right now. You got some numbers you want to get on Jalen Hurts, because real quick on him. He now, to me, and the numbers will speak to what you got over there, but he, to me, is after the game on Sunday. He throws for 217, 21, and 31, 2 TDs and a rushing TDs, or 3 total. After Pat Mahomes throws 3 interceptions on Sunday, and that team absolutely, they end up holding on and beat the Broncos, but at one point they were up 27-0. And they give up that lead, but Mahomes throws 3 picks to get the Broncos back into the game. After that, I feel personally, and I think everyone should, that Jalen Hurts is firmly in the driver's seat to win MVP. Barring anything catastrophic happening, he's firmly in the seat. Miles Sanders, 17 rushes for 144, 8.5 a carry out of Miles.
Yo, he single-handedly won my fantasy. He won my fantasy for me this week.
2 tutties. Jalen, 7 carries, 77 yards, 11 a carry, 1 tutty. We even get Boston Scott for 633, 5 a carry, 1 tutty. AJ Brown, 4 for 70, tutty. Devontae Smith, 5 for 64, tutty. I mean, it's just blessings all over the place. Blessings on blessings on blessings. So the Quez Watkins injury, anything else come out on that? Nothing
No, he's fine.
serious?
He's fine.
Okay, good. Lane
He
Johnson.
came back into the game.
Jane Johnson's day to day. He should be okay for Sunday.
If this was a playoff game, Lane Johnson would have come back in the game.
Yeah, so that's good to know.
The only reason they pulled him is because they were blowing the doors off of them in the second half. It didn't matter.
So let's get into it. Jalen Hurts, MVP by the numbers.
Yes. So first, well, we have a game that we like to play here, where I just give you the numbers, and you guess who it is, or what it is. Pick this quarterback over this guy, et cetera, okay?
Right.
So I got numbers. I'm going to give you 2 separate numbers, okay?
Okay.
And then I want you to choose which quarterback you want. It's going to be you're not going to know. So shout out to a buddy of mine who did a lot of legwork on these numbers for me, okay? Okay. Quarterback 1, okay? 3,843 total yards, 32 total touchdowns, 108.4 QBR.
I think I know who the quarterback is.
That's QB1, okay?
Sounds good.
How about QB2? You ready for this?
Okay.
3,605 yards, 33 touchdowns, 102.9 QBR.
Quarterback 1.
Okay. Quarterback 1 is Jalen Hurts.
I figured who that was.
Who do you think quarterback 2 is?
Mahomes?
No.
33 total touchdowns. How many rushing touchdowns?
I do not have the splits for that.
Is there rushing touchdowns including that 33 touchdowns?
Yes. I just don't know the splits for exactly what that is.
That Gino?
No.
Herbert?
No.
Who?
So it was a mildly trick question. That was actually Carson Wentz pre-injury 2017.
Wow.
So let me read, now that you know who it is, let me read you those full numbers again. Okay. 3,843 total yards, 32 total touchdowns, 108.4 QBR. Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz, 3,605 total yards. So the difference between the two of them is about 240, give or take. Okay. 33 total touchdowns. So one more. 102.9.
Wow.
Everybody decisively said, or most, I should say, widely assumed.
Yeah.
Wentz doesn't get hurt. He wins the MVP.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's numbers are better.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, I'm going to guess too, a lot less turnovers.
Half.
Yeah. So, yeah. And again, the biggest competition, in my opinion, was Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions on Sunday. They won the game, but
blew doors off of them. Well, they blew the doors off them early
at first, and then Mahomes started throwing the ball over the place. And listen, if Russell Wilson doesn't get that concussion, they might have. By the way, that is so scary when they zoom in and you look at the guy's eyes and he has no idea where he is. It was no one's fault. Wilson's going for the end zone. He gets hit really hard. His head hits the ground.
Did you see the hit that Mike White took?
No.
That's about as hard as you can legally hit a quarterback. Matt Milano, the Bills linebacker, hit him square in the target range. Hit him just below, like the shoulder.
But he got
head on. Oh, I mean, I felt that in my house watching that video.
Wow.
I'll send you the video on Twitter of it. That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't hit anybody harder than that legally anymore. Like it was. I mean, they said that there was worries that it punctured his lungs.
Wow.
Now, thankfully it didn't, but that was the initial concern. Like that's how viciously he got hit.
Yeah, you don't want to receive something like that, especially in the cold. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, barring anything catastrophic, Jalen Hurts should be your MVP.
Oh, so let me ask you this then, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically, now let's go off of your premise last week that you had, where the Christmas Eve game doesn't matter. Okay, now you only got one more game between now and then, so I don't know if that's still going to. The Cowboys have to lose this week to Jacksonville. I don't know if they will.
This is the one I circled as their loss.
Okay.
Texans gave them more run than I thought, but this is the one I think that this is dangerous for them.
If the Cowboys
in Jacksonville in no man's land.
Yeah, if the Cowboys lose this game and the Eagles beat the Bears, the rest of the season doesn't matter for the Eagles as far as a seeding standpoint. Obviously, you don't want, if you want to go for 16-1, that's what you attempt to do. However, let's go off the premise that you had where that Christmas Eve game doesn't matter, okay? Yeah. For the sake of this scenario. Okay. Are you benching him in that Cowboys game?
Yes. Are you
benching him in that Cowboys game? The whole game? Is he benched in that game?
Yes.
Okay. The following week against the Saints, is he benched?
No.
He's playing.
First half.
Last week of the season at home against the Giants, is he playing?
No.
Statistically, he will probably finish about the 4th or 5th best quarterback in that case. Is there a path where another team can jump him then? What if Mahomes gets 50 touchdowns?
Real quick.
Yes.
Vegas, I believes that the Jaguars have a great shot too.
Ooh, let me. I like the way you're talking.
Now, the Cowboys are favored, but they're only favored by 4.5
in Jacksonville.
Yes. That's only 4.5. Now, obviously, the home team is 3 because they're kind of saying a touchdown, but 4.5. I think Vegas is telling you that they think Jacksonville has a shot.
Would you take the 188 on the money line?
Yes, I would. I mean, in my weekly wild $5 parlay, I'm gonna do that with one of my upset specials. I wouldn't do real money on it, but it's worth the shot because Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is looking like the Trevor Lawrence that was drafted. They're putting up points. It's a weird thing going on in Jacksonville.
They got blown out like 2 weeks ago.
Weird things happen when you go down to Jacksonville.
Yeah, who did they got smoked like 2 weeks ago? Who'd they play? The Lions. The Lions blew the doors off of them in Detroit.
Well, the Lions are not a bad football team.
Yes, they are.
People need to stop it with the Lions being. The Lions are actually in playoff contention. All right, and what I tell you, I told you the Lions were going to beat the Vikings this week, which they did.
Yeah, I don't believe in the Lions.
Lions score points. Lions right now, the Lions are sitting right behind the Giants in the hunt for the playoffs. I mean, they're right now, they're 6-7. And, I got my eyes on the Seahawks right now kind of fading out of this thing because they're floundering, especially after losing the Panthers. Can't have that.
No, what you can't have is Baker Mayfield coming and beating the Raiders.
That was wild.
But that's not right.
No, it isn't. But
also, I've learned something about myself, Marcus. I think I hate Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
I think I hate watching him play the sport of football.
Yeah, I don't enjoy watching. Him as a person, I couldn't care less. But I don't want to watch him play football either.
No, I think I hate watching him play quarterback.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
And real quick before we switch to around the league, the conversation that prompted him to dig in those numbers up for me is he asked me a question. He goes, "Why did more people like Wentz then than like Hurts now?"
Why did more people like Wentz then than like
Yes.
Hurts now?
Yes, during that season. Like he said, why did more people buy in to the Wentz that year?
Can we start with the obvious?
Well, that's why I said the easiest thing to point is that watching Wentz play football is cosmetically pleasing to the eyes. Big, strong quarterback, throws the ball all over the field. It's Carson, like if you went into a lab and made a quarterback, rookie or Carson Wentz coming out of college is what you would build. That's the prototype that you would build. So it looked pleasing. You have Jalen Hurts last year who looked like visual vomit on the football field watching him play. Nobody expected him to come in and do what he did. Like, there's leaps, there's improvements, and then there is whatever he did this offseason, Marcus.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about the Josh Allen jump. Forget the Josh Allen jump. We're now talking the Jalen Hurts jump.
Jalen jump.
Yeah. Dear Jalen.
Yeah.
I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
Yep. All right. So let's get into the power rankings.
Love it. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Tampa Bay on this list?
Oh, of course. They're number 3.
I knew it.
Those who keep track at home, Tampa Bay has not been on my list in, I don't know, 3 months.
Tampa Bay is not allowed within this list or near any list-looking things.
Hey, I gotta tell you, man. Brady missed throws. The first drive, they're driving 3rd and 7, simple out route to Julio Jones, and completely missed him. We kept that drive going. He missed the throw in the end zone to Mike Evans. That should have been a back. He was looking for. I don't know what he was doing. All he had to do was lead him to the back pylon, and it's easy touchdown. He tried. I don't know if he's trying to back shuttle, but it was ugly. He underthrew him. He also underthrew a deep ball, which is something you don't see from him very often. And listen, I always say about him, that offensive line is so important to him. And when I think he's a little skitterish right now. I don't think he's done, or this is a reflection of him, but like. The effects of not having a great offensive line is showing in his play.
I mean, let's just be honest about it. He's 46 years old. Like, Father Time is undefeated. Like, Jordan's 6-0 in finals. Andy Reid's like 22-1 coming off a bye, and Father Time is completely undefeated against all athletes. Like, eventually, he's not going to have it anymore. So, physically, you can't make a defense he hasn't seen before. So what do we got? Who we got at number 10 today on your power rankings?
At number 10, the first time making this list this year, I believe, the New England Patriots, and at number 10, big win for them last night, obviously. But what happened? I mean, this is a product of not just them winning. What happened on Sunday? You had the Jets go down, and the Chargers win, but the Patriots had tiebreaker over both of them. The Patriots now are right now in playoffs. They're a playoff seed. They're a 7th seed now, which is big time credit to that defense. I mean, the offense is not great. But that defense, you gotta contend with them because they're just going to be in every game because they're so good defensively. You have the greatest defensive mastermind in the history of football to go along with. He finally has those pieces to go with that. So they're at number 10. Honorable mention. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what's your take on Mac Jones?
I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. I don't think he is. I think it's completely fair to say he's not performing up to standards. Actually, the guy if I was Bill Belichick, and he may go after this offseason, is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Go back and get him again.
Jimmy Garoppolo is a perfect candidate, a perfect guy for that. What he wants to do.
I mean, he tried to trade Brady,
right?
So Jimmy could start. Oh,
that's the guy. And listen, if the Brock Purdy thing
but how do the Niners let him out of the building though?
The Niners seem to like anyone but Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yo, this is what my favorite part about all this drama is. It doesn't involve the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean the Niners seem to have eyes for everyone else but Jimmy G. It's the players love
Trey Lance,
but I just don't feel like the management. I don't feel like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan believe in Jimmy G. Brock Purdy, listen, he played really well on Sunday. Who knows if that's the direction to go? I can't see them trying to go back to Trey Lance, like we've talked about millions of times.
You can't. You got to just cut me.
He's that guy. So Jimmy G might be available, and if he is, hey, crazier things have happened. Maybe you go out there and get a 46-year-old Tom Brady. You go out there and come home. Last year in the league, Tom Brady comes back to his hometown and takes him to the Super Bowl.
Now, I will tell you that will probably not happen. I will give my guess that he is in Vegas next year for his last season.
You think he's in Vegas?
I do. I think Josh McDaniels hates Derek Carr, and he wants Tom Brady.
Okay. I mean, all right. I mean, okay, it's interesting. I don't think he'll be in Tampa Bay next year. I think he plays another year, but I don't think it's in Tampa Bay.
I just think he's going to be in Vegas. I mean, there's just like Derek Carr can't be their quarterback next year. Like that's just what it comes to. Derek Carr, his tenure as the Raiders quarterback has run its course. He's not a bad quarterback. He just can't he can't run Josh McDaniels' offense. He can't run that offense.
Oh my gosh, Brady and Devontae Adams.
I don't think that when I say that a player's not smart enough to do, I don't mean that they're a stupid person that in general. But Josh McDaniels runs a very, very, very complex offense. And I don't think Derek Carr can grasp and run that offense. That same offense that Brady ran for the better part of 15 years. So, but all right, sorry, back to the rankings.
Okay. At number 9 in free falling, Miami Dolphins. Disappointing 2 weeks out of them. I mean, they're still here, but I mean, this was an interesting week because they had the Niners last week. This week they're facing a desperate Chargers team, and next week they got to go to Buffalo. So I mean, this is a big game for them because the belief in the Dolphins just aren't there. It hasn't really been there all year. People kind of thought this might happen to them. So this is like a playoff game for them on Sunday. I mean, this is a big game for them. I'm not going to be dramatic and say, a must win as far as obviously the standings go. But as far as psyche and showing that you belong, this is a big game. This is the game I've been waiting for also because I want to see what that offense looks like in cold weather. This is the first time I'm really going to see that because they were, they got the dome in the with Charge. They were warm weather with San Francisco also. So it'll be interesting to see how this offense performs in cold weather. Tyreek Hill will be fine. I mean, he played Kansas City. But what does Tua do? What does Waddle do?
The thing is this is going to be the game I think Tua unravels. I think that we're going to see it this game. Tua, he shut me up for a few weeks because he had played great. He played absolutely out of his mind for a couple weeks there. But Tua's not a starting NFL quarterback. Like, he has to throw his entire body into launching a deep ball that just barely gets there. He doesn't have velocity on his throws.
Yeah.
And for being a smaller dude, he has no athleticism.
And the thing is also, like,
But here's the thing: is he has the Garoppolo effect. His teammates love him.
Yeah. That ball's got like when you're throwing a football in cold weather, it's got to be able to cut through that wind.
Yes.
And cut through those conditions. Like
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Mahomes, Brady.
That's why I'm a
Rodgers.
little surprised the Steelers took Pickett.
Yeah, you love Pickett. All right, number 8. Again, a team in the danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. Minnesota Vikings. You know
what happened there?
This was not a good. It's the defense. This was not a good matchup for them. Detroit, they're going to put up points. I mean, listen. Everyone wants to keep laughing at Detroit. Keep on laughing. Next year, I'm telling you, next year Detroit will be a playoff team. They're going to just miss it this year. Next year they will be a playoff team. Dan Campbell's building something special out there. That offense is really good. Jared Goff has improved drastically. There's weapons out there. On the outside, I still don't understand why they made that trade, the Hockenson trade, because he would have been a great piece to hold on to.
I think it was money.
I don't like it for the sense that
I mean you're talking about the same franchise that forced both arguably the best running back and the best wide receiver ever to retire early from the franchise.
Yeah, very very true.
So,
but the Vikings got to figure out that defense, man. They really do. It's really bad. They give up weight. I mean, I hate the adage. Defense coordinator says the other day, well, we give up a lot of yards, but yards aren't points. Well, they will equate the points.
They will eventually.
Giving up a bunch of yards. Like, you can't just say we're gonna give you whatever you want from 30 to 30 and then hope for the best. No, you can't give up those yards. You can't get the momentum going. They also not only give up yards, they give up way too many big plays, way too much down the field striking action on the Vikings defense. So, they're on life support. The Baltimore Ravens come in at number 7. Huge win for them against Pittsburgh. Desperately, they need that win. Lamar is, I think, still week to week. I believe. I don't think he's anything other than week to week. So hopefully they'll get him back soon. At least you have a guy in Hundley that can run that offense. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he can run that offense.
I mean, if you're Lamar, why are you coming back this year? Like, they're going nowhere in the playoffs.
No.
Like that's like they're a one and done if they make the playoffs.
No. I blame Greg Roman entirely, as you know.
Like, yeah, yeah.
Greg
Like,
Roman's fault.
if you're Lamar, you protect your paper, man. Like, you still don't have a contract next year.
Yeah. And at number 6, after their putrid performance on Sunday, even though they end up winning the game, Dallas Cowboys. Come on, guys.
Had they lost, would they be in your rankings?
Yes, they would still be in, but they would probably be coming in around 8 or 9. Oh, come on, guys. The Texans, though? The Texans? Come on, man. Like really, the Texans. You gotta, and then they're jumping around. Like, that's one of those things. You score a touchdown. It's like, you're doing a fist pump. They're jumping around like they just won the NFC Championship game. Well, you're a bunch of losers. You're jumping around like you just won one Super Bowl. Like, you beat the Texans in a last-second drive, and honestly, they almost put you away. They got stopped on a 4th and goal. They almost put you away the possession before. You go 98 yards to do it. Shouldn't be. What are you doing? Proud of that. And also too, if you look, you'll hear my next 5 teams. But if you think about it, based on performance this week, these are 5 teams I believe are better than Dallas Cowboys. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 5. And I guess this is the one team that may be debatable after what happened to them Sunday. But I think if you think about it, you put those 2 teams on an isolated field, I think the Chiefs are better. Obviously, you trust Patrick Mahomes more than you do Dak Prescott. You trust Andy Reid way more than you trust Mike McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
You trust
there's not a bigger mismatch in that game than McCarthy versus Reid.
Trust that offense more. So yeah, I definitely go Chiefs over Cowboys. That's why number 5. Number 4, team that continues to stay hot. Told you watch out from a couple weeks ago. Them Cincinnati Bengals. Tiger King. He's here. 23-10 win over the Browns. Continue to roll. incurring incredible momentum going into the playoffs. And I'm telling you, if I'm looking at a team that could go into Orchard Park and beat the Bills, I'm looking at you, Tiger King. That's a team that can do that. They could be that team that go in there and do that. Obviously, the Chiefs, of course, but I guess if you have the two teams you think about going in there and being able to do that and go to Orchard Park and beat the Bills, it's definitely the Bengals and the Chiefs. And the odds are you'll probably face one of those squads going into Orchard. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. Number 3, Bills rebound nicely. Bad weather conditions. Who cares? What are you confused about?
Who's possibly number 2?
Oh, come on. You know who's number 2. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills, who bad weather conditions, doesn't matter. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Get the job done. Take care of business against the Jets. They did what they had to do. It wasn't pretty. It was super ugly. But they did what they had to do to keep that number 1 seed. Number 1 team in the AFC right now. But I do believe there's a team better than the Buffalo Bills right now and playing really good football. And a team I've been very, very high on. And a team I call, quote unquote, the scariest team in the NFC. That's the Fighting Brock Purdy's. That's right. The San Francisco 49ers. I have them at number 2. And, a lot of people may not have them there. But I'm telling you, this team is really, really good. And if I was to be honest about my feelings, I think they are the biggest threat to the throne of number 1. I don't want to see, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to see the 49ers for any reason whatsoever coming to the Lincoln Financial Field at all. I don't want those problems. There's going to be problems. I don't care if it's Brock Purdy. I don't care who the quarterback is. It's going to be problems because they are built to win games in January. They are offensively efficient on the line. Offensively efficient on the line, defensively efficient on the line. Defensive backfield is great. You have one of the best pass rushers in football. You have, one of the best running in football. Now, here's one thing. Here's one thing that's a little concerning. Deebo Samuel gets hurt on Sunday, high ankle sprain, which is concerning, especially as a high ankle sprain. Now, he's a little feller, so you hope that those injuries are worse on big fellers. So you hope that you can get him back as soon as possible. You're gonna miss him for a couple weeks. So finishing the season for them is going to be tough, but fortunate for them, they play in the NFC West. So they don't really have a lot to worry about as far as getting division. They're not going to get a bye, but that team is built to go, on the road for 2 weeks and win. Number 1, the vibes. I'm
just reading over the Niners injury report real quick.
My background just imploded on live television, but it's fine.
Oh.
Everything's fine.
Oh, it's...
It was a cat. The cat knocked it down. The cat just struck it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That actually scared me a little. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Get out of here. Idiot. Bad cat.
The funny thing is I'm always worried about the cat jumping up on the table during the show. You're worried about the cat taking out your whole backdrop.
Yeah, we got the baby's on the way, so we have the chain tables assembled yesterday. The crib's over here. We're getting.
Oh yeah. I mean,
a lot to unpack. Anyway, that's my power rankings.
Impressive. I didn't know Deebo also hurt his knee.
I didn't know that either. I thought it was great.
No, he also has an MCL.
It's not great. Oh no, that's so you won't be seeing him in the playoffs probably.
It said he's expected to come back, but it didn't say when.
Yeah, probably playoffs. Probably a wild card round.
Solid list. Solid. I'm stunned at how high you put the Niners.
I've had the Niners top 3 the past couple weeks. I just trust them. I think they are just really, really good and well put together. The Deebo injury obviously is a tough break for them. Brock Purdy, he's just not asked to do a lot, which is good for a young quarterback. And the Christian McCaffrey thing really for me just put it over the top. Like, what a perfect guy to get for that system. They have.
Yeah, I mean, you
idea.
went to a coach that knows how to use him.
Right.
Yeah.
And the offense is tailor designed that you have no idea who's getting the ball, when, and where.
Yep.
They're just really good. They're really good at
you have to treat Christian McCaffrey like a number one wide receiver.
Right. For him, and honestly, for McCaffrey, it's all about staying healthy.
Yep.
They can keep him healthy. Honestly, if they the next 2 weeks win both those games, I bubble wrap him for the last 2 weeks. Because you have no shot at the number 1 seed. You have no shot at getting a bye. Bubble wrap. Yeah. The NFC West should be wrapped up in the next 2 weeks because Seattle's in a free fall, and they're really your only competition. So,
yeah, I mean, let me pull up the standings real quick. We got the NFC. Let's see. They're they're 2 games up on them with 4 left.
Yeah.
I don't know if they play them again this year or not. Let's see. I got the 2022 NFL playoff picture. Right now, the 49ers are the 3rd seed. I think there's a good chance they can jump to number 2.
Which doesn't matter.
No, I would be very surprised if the Vikings can keep the number 2 seed.
Who's coming up?
Their schedule?
Yeah.
We have Vikings. We have Colts, Giants, Packers, Bears.
Colts, Giants, Packers, Bears. Packers won't have anything to play for that, so there'll be no Rodgers by that point. The Colts are going to play hard because Jeff Saturday to compete for a job. That might be an interesting matchup. And then Bears
and Giants.
And the Giants, you would think, would play hard. They may still have something to play for. They may still be in the playoff picture. Right now, the playoffs teams you have right now: Eagles is 1, Vikings 2, Niners 3, Bucks 4, Cowboys 5, Seahawks 6, Commanders 7.
No, that's not correct.
Commanders are out?
No. It is currently Cowboys 5, Washington 6, Giants 7.
Okay, Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, that was coming in this week. So Giants 7. So the Giants will theoretically probably have something to play for.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Who did you say was 6?
Washington.
Commanders. So Commanders 6, Giants 7. Giants are probably gonna fall out. But here's the thing with Giants: if the Giants are 7, again, opens the door for the Lions. My Lions.
So on the bubble, you have Seahawks, Lions, Packers.
What do the Seahawks have coming up?
Seahawks schedule. They have oh wow.
What is that going on?
Thursday, 49ers at Seattle. Great. Oh wow. Oh dude. Seattle's got a gauntlet.
So they got Niners on Thursday.
And then they go to
Seattle.
The Niners go to Seattle.
They could win that game because of the circumstance.
And then they got to go to Kansas City.
Oh.
Then they have Jets coming to town.
Wow.
And then they finish off with the Rams.
Well, they better win Thursday, or they're going to be done.
Yeah,
the Lions got coming up.
That's a gauntlet for the. Oof.
The Niners game, I can see them winning.
Ooh, Lions got Jets this week.
Tough one. In New York?
In New York.
Oh, man.
Then they go to Carolina.
Okay.
Home against Chicago. End the game in Lambeau. End the season in Lambeau.
See, this is a problem for them too. Is not those aren't winnable games on the road. They're a typical young team that's much better at home than they are on the road.
Yep.
3
out of 4 on the road.
That could be a struggle for them going to New York, facing that defense. Carolina, they should win that game. But again, road. and then Bears at home.
Yeah.
All right, it should be interesting down the stretch. And then what the Giants got going on. I know they got the Eagles last game of the season.
They got Washington this week.
At
Flexed,
Washington.
flexed to the Sunday night game.
Washington Giants.
Yeah, it's flexed to the Sunday night game.
I get it.
Then Giants. Then obviously Giants Vikings on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Wow.
New Year's Day you have Colts Giants, and then they finish in Philly on January 8th.
Fun games next couple weeks. Some fun football.
And we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, and we're already there. So we'll see you guys when we get there.
When I called one of my friends yesterday, and I said, when he picked up the phone, I said, listen, if your team didn't already clinch a playoff spot, we can't talk.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're not the same.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got one question for you. Not sports. I just have a question for you.
Okay. Can
you name the planets? All of the planets? You don't need to name them in order. Can you just name the planets?
I used to be able to do it in order. But
listen, hey, if you want to do it in order,
I can't do that anymore. Venus, Earth, Mars, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury. Did I say Earth?
Yes.
Pluto. Is Pluto a planet this week?
We'll count it this week. Count it this week. You're up to 7. You're up to 7.
It's 9.
Yes.
What am I missing? Oh, now I'm losing track of what I already said. Neptune, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Earth, Saturn, Pluto. What am I missing? It's gonna drive me crazy. Uranus? Did I say Uranus?
You're up to 8.
Oh man, I'm blanking. What am I missing?
Do you want me to tell you or want me to give you a hint?
Just tell me.
Jupiter.
I didn't say Jupiter.
No.
The biggest one.
Yep.
How did I miss Jupiter? Oh. Well, it's funny. It's what happens when we're out of school for 30 years. We got to forget stuff like that. Why'd you ask me that?
Because apparently it is much. So I heard somebody ask it the other day, and the person they asked it to could only get like 6 or 7 of them. And I'm sitting there like, how do you not know the planets?
Right.
So I asked one of my friends. He could only get to like 5 or 6. So then I said, okay. I asked Sarah. She got to like 7 or 8. She couldn't get all of them. And I'm sitting here thinking, maybe it's less common knowledge than I thought that people knew every planet.
Like I said, I used to be able to do it in order. Like I give you everything from the sun back and going out all the way farther from the sun. But it's funny. It's certain things, and this is just human nature, that you just kind of put in closets that you just never open again. Like, it's just not something that I have to recall normally. I'll tell you right now, though, if you ask me tomorrow, I'm gonna nail them, because now we open the closet back up. Because like, how you go to a closet and you're looking for stuff that it's in that closet, and you're like, I think it's on that shelf, and you're moving. That's kind of what that was for me.
Yeah, I just was curious how many you would be able to get. I'm actually, you made me look bad, because I had bet that you were going to knock it out and get all 9.
8.
Yeah.
Jupiter. I can't believe, of all the ones to miss.
Yeah. No, me and her made a bet.
I wish I missed like Mercury.
Then me and her made a bet, and she said that you probably wouldn't be able to get all 9. I said absolutely not. I was like, he used to be a teacher. I was like, Marcus, he can name all 9. And
yeah, I'm sorry I let you down.
Yeah, you did.
And the thing that drives is over Jupiter.
Yeah,
Jupiter. I'm rattling off flats. I'm telling you it's the biggest planet, but I couldn't name it. But you know what? Also, too, what happens is when you start rattling them off, Like you get like what happened to me. Like you start thinking, did I say that one already? Did I say this one already?
Now, do you remember which one has the rings?
Saturn.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember the facts. Like Mars is the red planet. Stuff like that. Yeah.
You know which one's closest to the sun?
That's Venus, right? No?
It's Mercury.
Mercury. Right, Mercury, because okay. Yeah. Science class. Take us back.
That was like I said, I just had to.
Yeah. All right.
Sometimes you got questions that you guys got to ask.
Sometimes you have questions you got to ask. Yep. All right. Well, at Marques tweeting everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app till Elon takes me down.
Brad Emery Pod everywhere. BradMishow.com for the merch. Go see our friends at Vans Jewelers, 333 York Road. The heart.
And we will have at least one more episode this year. Yes. Maybe 2, but we will at least be here next week, and we will provide.
Depend what the Eagles decide to do.
Yes, we will provide an update if we take the following week off for the holidays, but we will at least be here this time next week.
Yeah. And until next time, you be with us, you be against us, but never going to stop us. Late.